New Jersey holds a darker layer of history that goes far beyond the usual cliches about its vast Pine Barrens. Beneath its status as one of the most densely populated states in the U.S. lie scattered coordinates where time seems to have stopped. Settlements abandoned due to industrial collapse, failed government projects, and geographic oddities that have sparked urban legends for centuries. From the rusting remains of old ironworks to villages forcibly emptied, these places offer an unnatural kind of silence. So let's dive into the historical records and current conditions of 15 of the eeriest small towns in New Jersey, where their remains can still be found today. Hidden within 2,000 acres of Watchung Reservation, Feltville is the ghost of David Felt's 1845 ambition. He built this village as a self-sufficient printing center that once housed 175 residents, complete with a school and a church. But after Felt retired in 1870, the town's economy collapsed. It briefly lived on as a summer resort called Glenside Park, before becoming completely deserted. Today, Feltville is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. You can still see 8 wooden houses standing stiff, their paint peeling away. What makes this place eerie isn't just its horror movie architecture, it's the silence, standing in stark contrast to the busy surroundings of Union County. Visitors have reported hearing strange noises from the long-abandoned church and claim to see the figure of King David still watching over his land. When it comes to abandoned villages, Walpack tells a much more tragic story, where a government decision erased an entire community. In the 1960s, the federal government used eminent domain to remove all residents in order to build the Tocks Island Dam. The dam would have flooded the entire town. But after hundreds of people lost their homes and their town was dismantled, the project was canceled due to geological concerns and environmental protests. The result is a ghost town, now technically managed by the National Park Service. Structures like the old post office, a schoolhouse, and a Methodist church still stand, their windows lifeless and hollow. Only about 7 people are recorded as living in Walpack Township today. Walking its main road feels unsettling, like the whole town just left 5 minutes ago, leaving behind rusting tools and homes slowly overtaken by wild plants. Not all abandoned towns are left to rot. Some are frozen in time as reminders of what once was, though that doesn't stop them from feeling haunting. Long before railroads took over, Waterloo Village was a key transit hub along the Morris Canal in the 1800s. It had all the makings of a small metropolis: mills, lodging for boat crews, and a blacksmith shop. But technological advances led to its downfall. Once steam engines and railroads replaced canal systems, Waterloo lost its purpose almost overnight. Today, it operates as an open-air museum within Allamuchy Mountain State Park. Though open to tourists, parts of the village remain closed off and deeply atmospheric. Uniquely, the site sits on former Native American land, once home to the Lenape people, adding a spiritual layer to its past. A chilling mood lingers among the cold stone buildings and quiet canal waters, which locals say sometimes reflect the figures of people in old-fashioned clothes on foggy afternoons. If Waterloo feels like a peaceful time capsule, this town delivers a far more mentally suffocating kind of isolation. Batsto is a hidden gem in the middle of the Pine Barrens, founded in 1766. During the American Revolution, it was a major producer of cannonballs for George Washington's army. But once the local bog iron ran out and coal-based technology took over, Batsto began to fade. Its last owner, Joseph Wharton, tried turning it into a large-scale farming site before the state took over in 1954. The most striking feature here is Batsto Mansion, a 32-room house with a towering lookout. This isn't a ghost town in total ruin. It still has a post office operating with hand-canceled stamps and no zip code, one of the last of its kind in the US. The buildings are beautifully preserved, but it's the almost too perfect silence that gives Batsto its unsettling atmosphere. Leaving behind Batsto's orderly structures, we head deeper into the wild. If you're searching for the origins of New Jersey's darkness, Leeds Point may be the place. Officially part of Atlantic County, spiritually, it's considered the birthplace of the Jersey Devil legend. Historical records confirm the Leeds family existed, and according to lore, in 1735, Mother Leeds gave birth to her 13th child, who then transformed into a winged creature and vanished into the Pine Barrens. This area is made up of narrow dirt roads cutting through dense cedar forests. You won't find grand buildings, just scattered, isolated homes. What draws people in is the isolating atmosphere. The woods around Leeds Point are so thick that sunlight struggles to reach the ground, even at midday, adding to the chilling experience for anyone brave enough to visit. Meanwhile, Ong's Hat might be the strangest location on this entire list. Found in Burlington County, it's now just a spot on the map with no buildings left, only hidden debris in the woods. But its modern relevance comes from an urban legend about a group of rogue scientists who supposedly conducted quantum physics experiments here in the 1980s. They allegedly discovered a portal to a parallel dimension where humanity never destroyed the environment. The real history is much simpler. It was a charcoal-making settlement abandoned in the 1800s. Still, curiosity about the portal turned Ong's Hat into a hotspot for conspiracy theorists. Standing here feels like being in the middle of absolute nothing. There are no cars, no voices, just the sound of wind moving through the pine trees. It's this overwhelming emptiness that makes Ong's Hat one of the most unsettling places to visit alone. Emerging from the emptiness of the forest and stepping into civilization, we're reminded that even the prettiest towns can carry historical trauma, sometimes manifesting as ghostly encounters. Unlike typical ghost towns, Clinton is very much alive, but it has one notoriously haunted spot, the Red Mill. Built in 1810 as a wool mill, this iconic red building by the river holds a long, dark history, including horrifying workplace accidents. Over the years, both workers and visitors have reported sightings. A little girl who supposedly fell from the upper floors, and a man staring blankly into the water. Clinton is full of contrast. On one hand, it looks like a charming postcard town. On the other, its industrial past casts a darker shadow. Today, the Red Mill operates as a museum that hosts horror-themed events every fall, ironically, based on the real paranormal activity reported there. Next, Mount Holly is the seat of Burlington County and home to one of the state's most feared historic structures, the Burlington County Prison. Designed by architect Robert Mills, the prison operated from 1811 to 1965. Conditions inside were brutal back then, with cramped underground cells and executions carried out in the backyard. The town itself has narrow, historic streets, but it's the old prison that gives it a chilling presence. The building is now a museum and one of the most thoroughly investigated paranormal sites in New Jersey. There are frequent reports of prisoners who never left, especially in the darkest solitary cells. Mount Holly is rich with history, but the remnants of its penal past still seem to cling to the air. From the old prison town, we go deeper into the woods, where few people realize the ruins of Harrisville still exist, hidden inside Wharton State Forest. In the mid-1800s, this was a cutting-edge paper mill town. It had an artificial canal, a giant water wheel, and gas-lit streets, an extraordinary level of innovation for its time. But after the death of its owner, Richard Harris, and several devastating fires, the town was completely abandoned in 1891. What remains today are massive stone walls that look like the ruins of a medieval European castle tucked away in the wilderness. Vines and wild plants have overtaken the structures, creating a view that's both stunning and unsettling. What makes it eerie is the transformation itself, from a marvel of technology to a decaying relic, swallowed whole by nature. A similar pattern of industrial collapse can be found not far from here, but on a much larger scale. Located in Hamilton Township, Weymouth was once home to the Weymouth Iron Works, which produced ammunition for the War of 1812. When the iron industry died out, the site was converted into a paper mill until it was destroyed by fire in the late 19th century. The ruins that remain today are from that paper mill era. Weymouth is now a well-maintained public park, but the towering stone arches that still stand give off a strong Gothic impression. The area is eerily quiet. Even birds rarely chirp near the main structure. Many locals avoid the site after sunset due to reports of dark figures moving quickly between the stone pillars. What makes Weymouth unique is the contrast. Perfectly trimmed green grass surrounding the skeletal remains of a dead industry. Next, Double Trouble isn't just a spooky nickname. It's the official name of a village in Berkeley Township. This place was once a hub for cedar harvesting and later became a highly productive cranberry farm through the 20th century. Its strange name supposedly comes from two dam failures that happened in short succession, as if the village was cursed from the start. All the buildings are painted in a dull, uniform red, including the Cranberry Packing House and the workshop. Although now part of a state park, the original village area still gives off an intense feeling of isolation. The dark-colored swamp water, stained by tannins from cedar trees, creates odd visual reflections. The silence here is intimidating, as if something is watching from behind the small, dusty windows of the now empty workers' houses. And the silence of that Cranberry Village is matched only by the atmosphere of a town that once had its own currency, before collapsing financially. Allaire Village in Wall Township is a classic example of a failed company town. James P. Allaire bought the area in 1822 to develop an ironworks center. The village was fully self-sufficient, complete with a general store and housing for workers. But when industry shifted to Pennsylvania, Allaire couldn't compete and went bankrupt by 1848. Today, it's considered one of the most haunted places in Monmouth County. The tilted village church and row of dark red brick homes create a heavy, somber mood. Visitors often report movement inside the locked general store. The most intriguing part is an old bakery that still serves tourists using 19th century recipes. But the village's pathways are also said to fill with an unnatural fog at night, giving Allaire its haunted reputation. After exploring towns broken by economic collapse, let's turn to a place that's unsettling for a different reason: its connection to modern horror culture. Haddonfield may seem too clean, too perfect for this list, with tidy streets and expensive Victorian homes. But did you know its identity is forever tied to horror since director John Carpenter used the name Haddonfield for his iconic Halloween movie setting? Historically, Haddonfield is an old Quaker town, founded in 1713, and home to many colonial-era buildings. One of the most chilling is the Indian King Tavern, where New Jersey's Declaration of Independence was signed, and where Revolutionary War soldiers are said to still linger. Haddonfield is a prime example of suburban horror, fear that doesn't come from ruins, but from oppressive order. That feeling that something's off behind that big house becomes especially strong as autumn leaves start falling on its silent streets. In contrast, Port Republic is a peaceful small town in Atlantic County with deep military roots, including the site of the Battle of Chestnut. Surrounded by swamps and forests, it's geographically isolated in a way that shapes its eerie stillness. What makes Port Republic unique are the scattered old burial sites tucked into remote areas, often just a few worn gravestones covered in moss. Yes, it's a calm place, but the kind of calm that makes you instinctively whisper. There are numerous reports of ghostly sightings in the surrounding marshes, said to be spirits of soldiers whose bodies were never found. Today, Port Republic remains a quiet, private community, one that adds another layer of mystery for anyone trying to explore its most silent corners. Ending the list is Smithville, located in Galloway Township. Though now known as a popular shopping and heritage tourism spot, its core is made up of original buildings from as far back as 1787, moved from various parts of New Jersey. This practice of relocating historic structures has created a dense concentration of historical energy in one small place. Walking through Smithville after tourist hours feels completely different. The creaky wooden bridges, fog rolling across the lake, and shadows near the oldest inn all create a haunting visual. Smithville blends the comforts of tourism with very real echoes of the past. Many shop employees have personal stories, objects that move on their own, or footsteps heard upstairs in an otherwise empty building. New Jersey proves that urban growth and modern technology can't fully erase the dark echoes of the past. These 15 locations aren't just tourist stops. They're remnants of failed dreams, collapsed industries, and wilderness reclaiming what was once built. Each stone ruin in Harrisville or vacant window in Walpack is a reminder: nothing we build is truly permanent. And after walking through the history and current state of these towns, a deeper question remains. Is a place truly haunted because of supernatural entities? Or is it haunted because it forces us to confront how easily human civilization can be forgotten, sometimes in just a few short decades?